Okay, batch filming. I'm gonna film one more video. I am still low energy, so I apologize if I'm not gonna like hash through it again, but just know that like the past few weeks, because of the way things have turned out with the US election, I'm not in the mental health, the mental health space to fully be at my 100%. I'm low on spoons. If you guys understand the whole spoons analogy, girl, I got like 2 spoons and I can't spare one for anyone else. So I'm so sorry. My name is Brianna. I am the owner of Moonwax Galaxy, where I sell 100% soy wax melts and candles with a space theme. I have come before you today to talk about my Christmas release. So, Moonwax Galaxy is officially 4 years old, 4 years old, and we have not once done a Christmas release. And so this is me talking about my Christmas release that I'm going to be planning on doing. There will be a video, I don't know when it's going to go up, of me recording like behind the scenes of me making the candles, da-da-da-da-da. Usually I lean more towards like ASMR stuff. So I guess we'll see how that goes if you enjoy that. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to do more ASMR uploads of like behind the scenes rather than trying to do like a vlog style. One, because I'm just not good at that. But two, I think people just like ASMR candle making. It's decent, people look at it. But also just because like, that's what I feel like. I want to have content of me actually physically like making the candles, because I realized that it's not immediately obvious that I hand make these candles. And I'm trying to make it more obvious that like, hey, I'm making these candles with my own 2 hands, right? So I have been, sorry, hold on. So I have been yapping about this for a while, about how I'm like, oh, I want to rebrand, I want to redo, I want to change my packaging. And so I'm finally going to show you an example of what I mean. So first things first, we have these candle tubes that I got off of Candle Science. And on it says Moonwax Galaxy going across the top. It's a sticker. The bottom, I want to put kind of like what the scent is and a QR code, but those labels have not come in yet. It has been a nightmare trying to get these labels because I want holographic ones, and I found some, but then Amazon was like, oh, well, we delivered it. First of all, they said, oh, it's gonna come tomorrow, and then it didn't come, and then like 4 or 5 days passed, and then they were like, okay, now it's here. And then they gave me some other woman's package, and so I gave it to her, and then I was like, okay, well, I need a refund because I don't know where my shit is. And they were like, oh, well, you have to return that package and then give us like the correct one, and then we'll give you your refund. And I'm just like, look, I'm gonna have to email them because they think that I got the wrong item instead of I got someone else's package. So I have to email them and be like, hey, that's not my package. Ha 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 ha. Give me my money back, thanks. I don't know where my shit is. So yeah. The thing about these tubes is that they're kind of hard to open. They're made of cardboard, and I was debating on whether I wanted to get black or if I wanted to get brown, just because brown with the Christmas release, which I'm going to talk about, but I'm essentially going kind of back to the amber jars that I did for Black History Month, just because that was popular and I like the packaging for that. So yeah, I'm going to this, and I'm sitting here and like, do I want to do brown or do I want to do black? I'm gonna go with black just because I can make everything black, and I'm not gonna do like, oh, this collection is brown and this one is black and this one is, we don't need to do that. We're just gonna have consistent packaging. The issue with this is that it's a little hard to open. You kind of have to twist it to open it. It's not impossible, but it's a little more difficult than I expected. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. I can smell it already. So this one, before it falls, so this is how it slides out, and this is the candle. As you can see, it's not fully lined up all the way, so forgive me for that. I've learned that, well, I'll just go over what the rebranding that I did. So here I have the new labels, which is essentially sort of like the astronaut helmet, and I'm gonna have the name of the candle and what it smells like. I also have the ounces and about how many burn time on there. I don't know why I stuttered on that. At the top, of course, I have the moons again, which I think is pretty, I don't want to say classic, But one of my friends was like, oh, it's iconic. And I was like, is it? Because like, we're not popular enough. But I do think enough people like, you know, see the moon and it's like, oh my God. I also have the gold moons going around. The problem is I had a lot of trouble lining this up correctly. So as you can see, like this label, which I'm going to try to move, I can take it off and move it again, is not completely centered. But I think the easiest thing to do is to essentially do the moons first and then make the candle and then put the other labels on there. At the bottom, there's still the same warning label. Nothing really changed there besides the size of it so it can fit on here. And for this collection, I have wooden wicks. Now I will say for every collection, for most of my candles are not gonna have the wooden wicks just because they're expensive and because I'm not like the largest fan of wooden wicks. Colors wise, again, I wanted to go with sort of browns, golds, warm tone colors. The moon here is orange just because, again, I wanted to stay true to the Black History Month collection, which was more so supposed to be more rustic inspired. This one, even though it's coming out on Christmas, I'm kind of going for a more warmer tone Christmas. So usually like golds and stuff like that. I'm trying to debate on whether or not I want to put a bow around this for like Christmas, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, this is a Christmas collection. One of the scents that I have is patchouli and sandalwood. This is a new scent. It's called Asteroid. I have had patchouli and sandalwood in other candles before. We have had amber, patchouli, and sandalwood, which is popular. And then I have another candle that's actually for a game. That's patchouli and sandalwood. I don't know what it is, but people love the smell of patchouli and sandalwood. Very much so similar to the other scents that I have, which is the sage and mahogany, which are more like essential, I don't want to say essential oils, but incense smells, like an incense stick, but as a candle, people love it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's psychology behind it, but yes, I now have it as a candle. It's a very, I'm trying to think of how to explain patchouli and sandalwood. It's just a little bit of spice, but it's a very also like woodsy, because of the sandalwood, it's a very woodsy smell. And I think it's a very good, like, neutral smell. I wouldn't necessarily call it, like, masculine. I think that this smell is very good at being, like, neutral. Now, mahogany is a very, like, more masculine smell to me. So take that for what you will. But so this is the new design I want to do for all of my candles. So the original line, I'm slowly going to sort of sell off the extra stock that I have and then redo them. But I'm going to have every jar shaped like this. I was going to have lids, but I cannot find lids wide enough to fit this jar, which is a little frustrating. So that's why I kind of want to do the candle tubes to like keep them protected. But yeah, so these jars, I will have a black version with sort of like holographic moons going across the top. I want to have a holographic version with black moons going across the top. The moons on those versions will be, these moons here, will be either black, the mint green, or the hot pink. So yeah, happy with this. Now again, as I said before, the other wicks are going to be cotton wicks and not wooden wicks. These wooden wicks kind of have a little crackle to it. They're not like super loud, but I think if you listen close, you'll hear it crackle. And I want to sort of make a separate video somewhere on the channel where it's just maybe like a couple of minutes of you hearing the crackle, ASMR type situation type deal. You got what I'm saying? Cool. So yeah, and I think like this is really nice. When I had this design before for the Black History Month release, there were people who were like, oh my God, I love the attention to detail. I love the moons going around and then the moons at the top and da 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 da. But I have also met people that was like, why are there moons on it? And I'm like, oh, well, the name of my business is Moonwax Galaxy. And she was like, oh, but why are there moons? And I'm like, and so like, I just didn't know how to explain something that I assumed would be obvious to someone who just like was not getting it. So I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense to most people. I think that was just like an outlier. Maybe I don't know what was going, not that I'm like trying to be mean to that woman. Maybe I don't know what was going through her head, but I was like, I don't know how to explain this to you. So I just like I just smiled and was like, well, it's just me trying to decorate and be cute. It's just like, okay. But then I was like, so yeah, I'm trying to open, ooh. So this one is also a new one. Ooh, okay, this one is a favorite of mine, so bear with me, but this one is Dragon's Blood. Everything is basically the same, obviously, with the design. The moons This moon on top is actually a little bit more of a red. I had my I had my roommate kind of help me make the moons, and I was like, oh, just add so many drops of the dye, and she added a little too much, so this one came out a little bit more red than orange, and I just kept it because I'm like, dragon's blood, blood red, blah blah blah. So dragon's blood, how do I explain dragon's blood? It's a very, ooh, I want to say it's a little bit more of a clean smell. I will say that it's more of a clean smell. It's not like spicy, but it's definitely got some like spice to it. I don't know if I want to say it's like really woodsy, but it smells really good. And one thing, hear me out, because this is going to be a weird thing that I say. I've said a lot of like weird stuff on my channel. I think that like can only be understood by certain people, but like it reminds me of like a black grandma's house. If you've ever been to like a grandma's house and they have that like incense smell that you can't quite put your finger on, I think dragon's blood is one of the smells that it reminds me of. But it smells really good. It's one of my favorites, and if people don't end up liking it, I might just keep it for myself because it smells so good. It smells really good. Is our mahogany. So this one is from previous collections. Mahogany is so popular. Mahogany is really good. Very masculine, very woodsy. Very similar to Bath and Body Works mahogany. If you know, you know. Whew, yeah, that's good. That smells really good. So yeah, and these candles are really heavy, honey. These are weighty. I don't know what it's gonna be like to ship these because these are definitely heavy, the heaviest jars that I have so far. But we'll see how this goes. So yeah, but mahogany, yeah, that smells good. And then of course the last one is sage. Sage is another candle that's been pretty popular, and sage particularly, when I was first trying to figure out what smells that I wanted for Black History Month release back then, sage made it to the list just because I was trying to Google like, what scents do people really like? I didn't have Kim readily available to do like lots of testing and going around and asking people like, what do you think of this smell? What do you think of that smell? I was a little bit on a time crunch, so I started Googling like, what smells do people really like? What are the most popular smells in the world? And sage kind of came up, and I was like, I don't know. And so when I was looking up sage candles just to see what other people were doing, I always saw sage with something else, like sage and pineapple, sage and this, sage and that. Sea salt and sage, but I didn't catch anyone selling sage just by itself. And I mean, I could be wrong. There's probably plenty of people out there who have just a sage by itself candle, but at the time I wasn't really finding anything. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. And to be fair, I will say I felt like it was a little bit of a risk at the time, just because like I had no clue if people were actually gonna like it. Like I was like smelling it. I didn't feel very strongly about it, but I like fruit smells. And so I was like, Mom, smell this. And she was like, oh, it's okay. And so I was like, okay, I hope people like it. I don't know if people are actually gonna like this smell. Like I was blind. I had no opinion on whether or not people would like the smell, because before, with the candles we had before, we had lots of opinions, and people were like, I like this one, I don't like this one, I like this, I don't like this. So I went to a pop-up and damn near sold out of it. I promise you, sage and mahogany, no matter where I go for a pop-up, I cannot keep these in stock enough. So here she is. Again, moons. Sage is what I would describe as a very clean smell. Very clean. A very clean smell, with a little bit of like a, like you can tell that it's a plant smell, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to describe that, but it smells like you're smelling a plant, but it's like clean. It's a little bit, it just a smidge of like that minty smell too. Very clean. I think like I would describe sage and probably like patchouli and sandalwood. No, dragon's blood is more like maybe like clean smells, if that makes sense. So that is the full collection. As a warning, because these ones are heftier, these jars are more expensive and they're heftier and they're bigger. Well, really not. It's like, it's still 10 ounces, but it feels like you're getting more. But unfortunately, I have to raise my prices. And For the longest, I was like, I want really good smelling candles that are affordable, and I'm finding myself like finding that I can't really do that anymore. What I hope to do when I get a little bit more money is that I want to make smaller size jars that are still affordable. So it's like you still get you get what I'm saying? The very much so like strong smelling candle for like not a terrible price. But these jars are going to be $25. I'm going to sort of make it discounted where you can buy the whole collection for probably around maybe like $60 instead of paying $100 for all 4 of them. So yeah, I also have updates, other updates that I want to talk about. We now have candle subscriptions. And so it would be like a monthly thing. You can choose to add as many candles as you want to your subscription. And every month you will get that candle sent to you. So this is just an option for people who may not be able to catch me all the time. And they're like, I want a candle, I need a candle, I need another one. I have quite a lot of people hooked on Sage and Mahogany, and I have quite a lot of people hooked on Watermelon Lemonade, which is my summer candle. So if you're interested in that, check out our website. I have redone our website, moonwaxgalaxy.com. Take a look, peruse, if you will. Yeah, and join our newsletter. Usually I have a newsletter now. Probably try to link that down below where you can sign up for that as well. But join our newsletter. You'll get updates before everyone else. You'll probably get first updates on new releases, new clusters, anything new that we're coming out with. We also have the wax melts versions of these. I almost forgot to mention. We have the wax melts versions of these. I am going to stick with the clamshells, which puts me in between a rock and a hard place just because plastic isn't the most environmentally friendly. But I don't want to have issues shipping stuff in the summertime, if that makes sense, if I just send it out without any sort of protection from the heat. So that's where we're at right now. I'm hoping that maybe I can have like maybe a version that I ship out during the winter that's more eco-friendly, and then the summer I'll just be forced to use the clamshells. But please recycle materials if you can. I beg of you, just because I do care about the environment. So yeah, any other updates? I think that's it, pretty much. That's pretty much it, I think. These are gonna go up soon. I honestly should have like hard launch dates of like, this launch is gonna be up on this day. Be prepared, be ready, blah, 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 blah. I'm just not that person. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. May your stars always align and may fate conspire in your favor. I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.